Hi, lovelies. Welcome back to another episode of the I Have Thoughts podcast. I'm Alicia Young Collins. I'm a creative brand consultant, graphic designer. I'm a substitute teacher, and I'm also a certified life coach specializing in resilience building. And today on my podcast, as promised, I have a special guest. This is my lovely husband, Jamin Collins. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
And today we're going to be talking about a pattern that I'm noticing on social media when it comes to couple influencers. We all have heard of the latest influencer couple who have broken up very publicly. And I'm hearing so many stories, and I've seen so many posts online with other couples who down the road are starting to split up or break up. So we're really going to be discussing this as a married couple. And we don't know none of these people personally. We actually don't really follow. We know them because people have sent us their posts. They've sent us their videos. But it's just really sad to see this downward spiral of relationships. I mean, relationships break up, right?
True.
Okay. But something about being on social media seems to be putting the extra pressure on. So let's get into it. So what's your thought? Because personally, from what I've seen, it's not that funny. It's very annoying. I'm seeing a lot of fake reactions. Perhaps they started off as real reactions, as authentic, but then it's just got a bit much. So here we are now, a couple publicly breaking up online, having to tell the world that this is a decision they make, and everyone has an opinion. Usually it's very centered around the female opinion. So I'm really intrigued as how you feel as a husband and as a man. Like, what's your impression?
I feel I agree. I think oftentimes whenever there is a breakup, people always side with the woman. It's very easy to side with the woman, especially in this case, it's a very beautiful woman.
Go ahead.
Especially in this case, it's a very beautiful woman and a woman who has created and been very successful in a lot of her creations that she's done. So a lot of people feel automatically she had to be in the right and he had to be in the wrong. You hear a lot of negativity about a man. I feel that, as you mentioned, we don't follow them. I've only known them from videos that other people have sent me. However, I feel I always say there's three sides to every story: his side, her side, and the truth. And none of us have heard his side or her side directly personally, more so just from a standpoint of like whatever they have told everybody from social media standpoint. And then there's always the truth. So yeah, I feel that you never really know 100% what was behind everything happening there. Yeah. And from a man's perspective and point of view, I feel that there's so much that that men maybe don't always say in a relationship or will publicly let everybody know about. So which he shouldn't have to. He doesn't need to let everybody know all his personal business. So I feel everybody needs to kind of respect their level of privacy and their level of whatever happens. We don't know. It's all speculation.
I think part of it is also a problem with what is their level of privacy. Like, have you as a couple, before you enter this journey of being influencers, trying to become successful influencers on social media, have you sat down and actually talked about how much we're going to share and how much of this is real? Because we know Real Housewives ain't real. So how much of this content is actually going to be genuinely up and how much of it is going to be performative? And I find what has also happened is that perhaps they haven't discussed the money value and they haven't discussed what their values are going in. And if are they going to allow money to change those values? Because your goal, let's be honest, is to be very successful in it. Your goal is to make money, to get subscribers, to get those sponsors and, have a successful business. So what is that success going to do to your values? What is that success? How's it going to change you as a couple, as a family? Or how can you avoid it changing you as a couple and a family? What do you think
Yeah.
with that?
And I feel that people, you're never content with what you have. So you get that first 1,000 followers, and maybe it took you however long, you made a couple of videos, but you're not happy with that. So now you need to get to, I'll be happy when I get 10,000. I'll be happy when I get 100,000. I'll be happy when I get 1,000,000. And now you have a person who's up to like 9 million, even 10 million followers. There's a lot of hard work that goes into getting this amount of followers and creating a brand where now 10 million people are going to want to follow you and know what you guys are talking about. And all this, we see a 30-second video online, which we probably fast forward and maybe watch half of it, if even that, before we click like and move on to the next video. But hours and hours of work has gone into this video, meaning that there's time that they're not able to spend together as a couple, as a family also too. So yes, agreed. One's definition of success, what does that actually look like? And how much time is that going to take away to be able to have a successful family at the same time of having a career that is thriving?
Yeah, that's so true. Because even just us setting up this ring light and this phone, how long did that take?
It took a while.
It took a while. The ring light fell. It was like 10, 15 minutes. Yeah. And even being able to schedule this time to film this, because life happens. Life is life in. And it's like, you got to deal with that. So how are they dealing with that? How are you, are you living in a house of Big Brother? And how much pressure could that possibly put on a man? Like, there are successful male influencers, obviously, out there. And there are also very successful couple influencers. And I would love to know exactly what their secret is. Because honestly, I'm like, hey, I'm not going to talk down anybody's business. It's a business at the end of the day. But how do you separate your business from your family?
Correct.
How do you communicate what's fun about this, and then when it's not fun?
Yeah.
And are you both listening to each other when you're having that conversation? And one thing that I kind of hear about here is that perhaps communication weren't happening. Someone was like, look, I'm making my money. From what I understood, she was very successful before doing this on her own, and then he came in.
I don't know the details.
I don't know.
But yeah, I do agree that communication is so important, but you also need to communicate, like, what are our timelines? It's a job. End of the day, people like want to say it's being an influencer is something it starts out fun as a hobby, but it turns into a job, then turns into a career. Like with any 9 to 5, what are going to be my hours for working on this? So that way it doesn't interfere with the time for my family. And also communicate, to your wife or to your husband that, okay, tonight, I know this might be family night, but I have a project I really need to work on.
Yeah.
I'm going to be working until 10 o'clock tonight or whatever. After that, I'll be available. That's going to be too late to do anything with together as a family. But let's tomorrow organize something. Right at the beginning of the week, let me organize my schedule so I can make sure that I have time to spend with my wife, with my children, with the dog, with whoever in the family. So just trying to be able to have that open communication. Things are going to come up, obviously, but really highlighting, to get when's going to be our together time. I mean, we look at men who are very successful in the corporate America world, and we see the man who's jet setting, who's on a business trip, and we kind of, we recognize he's doing it for the money and take care of his family, but we also kind of like talk down about him because he's spending more time at work and with the secretary than he is at home. When the roles are reversed, and now it's a woman who's very successful, and she's spending more time at work with her assistant and everybody else than at home, I feel like the narrative kind of changes, and now it's more like, well, now it's the woman's turn to be successful. It's okay for her to be able to do it, but it's not okay for a man to do it. My personal opinion, I feel it's not okay for any person to do it. You need to be able to sit down and figure out what is going to work best for us as a family. It's okay if you need to work till 10 tonight because you have a project that has to be done, but we as a family, we can't work to 10 every single night because we're not going to spend time together. Yeah. Or if you guys are okay with that, then now you have to deal with the consequences of what will come of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, I think the narrative around, oh, she's so beautiful. How could you do this to her? Blah, blah, blah. Mate, it don't matter how gorgeous you are, I mean, look at the Kardashians. They are beautiful women. Yeah, they've had work done, but they're still beautiful. Let's call a spade a spade.
Beyonce.
Yeah. It happened to the queen.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's deeper than skin. It's deeper than your looks. And, we've seen it in the real world, as it were. Men have cheated on their beautiful wives or girlfriends with, the not so beautiful women.
Yeah.
And so it's not about that. And what would it usually be about? Like, from a man's perspective, what do you think is happening there?
I feel a lot of people don't understand how emotional, how sensitive men really are, and how much a man, he wants to spend time with his wife. He wants alone time. He wants just time with her. He wants family time.
Yeah.
Men really, a good man really wants that. We see too much on TV and in the media how men are always off doing things with the guys, but there's a portrayal of this masculinity, of even toxic masculinity, of how a man should be. But in reality, a lot of guys, when you have a good woman, you want to be with her. And when she's not giving you that time or attention, you start to feel a certain way. And sometimes it's like, even for us, like just sitting here watching TV together. We're not doing anything. You're on your phone. I'm on my phone. But the fact that you are sitting on the same couch as I am, I can look over and, wait, something funny happened on TV, or here, let me show you this meme real quick. That means a lot more than you being at a board meeting, or you being, somewhere else, or me being somewhere else, and we don't have that same alone time, or just that time together. So I feel that, yes, it doesn't matter how beautiful she is as a woman, doesn't matter how... I forgot about her.
So, yes, we got cut off, so editing. So yeah, many people think, oh, she's so beautiful, how can you cheat on her? You must be this, you must be that. What's your opinion about that?
I feel it really has nothing to do with looks. Most of the time, it's never really about how beautiful a person is. It's usually more about what's missing in the relationship, or just certain attention, or certain just what's missing in the relationship. I always say, I think one thing I really enjoy about what we do is, like, as we're sitting here on the couch together, you're watching TV, I'm watching TV, we're on our phones separately, but we're on the same couch. We're sitting here together.
Yeah.
I can easily show you what I see. We laugh at something similar. And there's just something about that quality time, about spending time together with your partner, with your mate, with your spouse, that if you were elsewhere, or if I were elsewhere, it starts missing out. And a lot of good guys, we have a good wife, and you really want to spend time with your good wife.
Yeah.
So when you don't get that, you start missing that, and it starts creating issues in the marriage.
Yeah. And what I've noticed in terms of what happens in these relationships is it's the pressure. It's the pressure of another dollar sign, another zero. You start off great. I've had another friend who was following another couple. Same things happened to them. They've broken up. It started off really cute. The mother was trying on clothes, and it was really sweet. And her family was like, reviewing and whatnot, but as you get more successful, the outfits change, the persona changes. When a woman is feeling herself, we get confidence, we get things happen. But sometimes when success comes in, a lot of things change, and so there has to be some way that a couple can hold on to what they have that is sacred without sacrificing it for $1.
Yeah, agreed.
What's your view on that?
Agreed. I feel that's where balance comes in.
Yeah.
I think we've talked about before of just the importance of what are your priorities and how to be able to find a good balance. You need to work. You need to be able to provide for your family.
You sure do.
Take care of them. So, but how can I make this maybe a hobby into a new career, into something I really like, but still have a good balance with it? And how to communicate that with your partner too. What are our priorities? Is my priority more about making money, or is my priority really spending time with my family? And how can I be able to really balance those two out?
Yeah. And obviously, when you are on this journey, people may change.
Yeah.
Personalities change, values change, even in a brand, right? I always say to my clients, just periodically review where you're at. Do you hold the same values? Are you being authentic with it? Do you still stand for those values? Do you still agree with those? And I think the same applies to a relationship. You always have to check in with each other, and also checking in with each other, but do it privately.
Yeah, agreed. And I feel too, you have to understand when you go into new circles, there's going to be new pressure. So maybe when your brand starts out with only 10,000 followers, you're only targeting a certain group of people. But now once you get to 1 million followers, you're now surrounded by new people. How are these new influences going to now affect your life and your priorities and your balance and your family life too? And so now let's reevaluate at this stage of the game. So these people, my friends and family, when I only had 10,000 followers, people actually knew. Now I have 1 million followers, and everybody else is trying to be able to contact me or trying to be able to pull me in different directions. How am I going to be pulled in these different directions? And can I keep that same balance as I had before?
Yeah, and also there's networking, right? You got a network.
Yeah, you do.
But are these people going to be in your inner circle? And are these people who you really want to emulate as well?
But the problem is that you kind of learn, if I don't emulate them to a point, then I'm not going to be in their circle anymore. So how do I balance out, again, giving a little bit, but not changing who I am or what really is important for me, where I can still be able to get the extra followers, to build up my brand and build up my name within my career, but then also not really having to change too much who I am. It reminds me of there's an episode of The Housewives we were watching together, and there was one woman on there who, she started out in the show really nice and friendly, but then over time, she started changing, as many of them do on that show. And her, I think it's her fiance at the time, he started, quote unquote, not supporting her as much. From a guy standpoint, I understood exactly what he meant by that. He saw his fiance now get physically attacked by somebody on the show. He saw a lot of different other scenarios and situations which are happening on the show. So from a man's standpoint, I don't want my wife in a situation where now another woman is beating her up, and she's in a club where she would never have been if she was in this center of these new people that she's now hanging out with. So how do you balance out now? I want to support you and you being on this show and you being in a good place if this is something that you really want to do. But at the same time, I can't support you if now you're coming home with a black eye, or we're in the hospital now when you could have avoided this place. So how to be able to find that nice balance, and then understand also from, my partner is concerned about my well-being. It's not that he doesn't want to support me, but he's actually just really concerned about me. So let's talk about how to find a good balance.
You have that usual conversation about he being jealous of her success or her money and whatnot. But if you truly want to be with this person, surely you feel that they love you. Surely you feel that they would be concerned for you.
And I heard that a lot. I appreciate you mentioning that about being jealous of her success. So many times with especially the couple we're talking about, many people have mentioned that in the comments. Oh, he's probably jealous. He only has 1 million followers. She has 9 million followers. It's not a question always about being jealous of their success. I'm supporting you. You're more successful than me, but we're a team. We're together. There's not a you being successful, I'm being successful. If you are, that means we are. For me, that's how I view it. So we are doing this together. My promotion at work means your promotion at work. Your extra 1 million followers means my extra 1 million. We're doing this together. This is a joint effort. So it's not about me being jealous of you. However, it does mean I'm going to be concerned about what new environment are you now going to have to be in to get these extra 1 million followers.
And it's also about the brand as opposed to our family. And can it be two separate things? I mean, that leads us on to the conversation about the Beckhams. But, that might be another video.
That's a different video.
Because I know you have some thoughts about the Beckhams that no one was thinking about until the documentaries and this whole fiasco. Anyway, I digress. But what part is the brand? Do we have a joint account for the brand? Do we have a separate account for the brands? Whole conversations about prenups come up, and they're not actually, we found out, very solid in the UK. So prenups weren't really a conversation in the UK as much as it is here. And what effect does that have on the relationship going into this influencer journey as well? But also separating business from your real relationship. That's one point. We've spoken about communication, what's fun and what's not. Honesty, being honest with one another, our value system, what's important to you as a couple, as an influencer couple, periodically reviewing where you're at. And don't tell the world about it, just do it. And then keeping some things private and sacred. I think that those are the 6 maybe points that perhaps they can review.
Agreed. And I feel that at the end of the day, those millions of followers can disappear over time.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
relationship, your marriage
Yeah.
is always going to be there.
Social
So
media might crash.
Yeah, and it has before.
And it has.
We all have tried to log
Yeah.
into Instagram one day, and we couldn't log in, and we all
Panic.
panicked. Yeah. It's like, and you start messaging everybody, hey, can you log on? Or is it just
Yeah.
me? What's going on? You Google
Yeah.
search it to find out what happened. But your marriage, your partner is sitting right next to you. So who's really more important in that moment? And that's why it's so important to put, and that's why going back to the conversation of priorities. What's your priority? What's your balance?
Yeah.
What's really important in your life? And if your partner, your marriage is more important, then how can we make this work more so than making my brand or our family brand, or whatever the brand may be, making that work? Talking about that and really be on the same page as to how can we have a good balance where this is not going to affect our marriage. Because 30 years from now, you are still going to be there as my wife, not this 1 or 2 extra followers who I'm trying to appease and make them be there.
Well, lovely, as you come to the end of this video, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. Let's be gracious in the comments. What do you think? How can couples maintain their authentic relationship online? But thank you, Jamin, for joining me
Thank you for having
on
me.
my podcast, the I Have Thoughts podcast. Don't forget to like this video, share it. Also subscribe if you have not already, and I would love to hear your thoughts below.